Well, there's lots of relevant high scoring at the moment in all these games, and the Warriors just get over the Raiders, and they almost let it slip, but thankfully a really, really good set out of trouble. A really tough kick from Foggs getting that ball caught inside the in goal and getting a 20 meter restart with a 7 tackle set, and they literally went 12 to 15 meters each and every run. It's a big run there from Tohu Harris, obviously lovely finishing run from Adam Fanua-Blake. There's probably no one better to take that last run before a field goal, and then Johnson just absolutely nailed it. So, SJ, how good is he? What a man. He's been absolutely incredible this entire year, averaging 64.3 for the season there, and it's just goals, a field goal, and a try assist, and the rest of it is just in that base. 19 tackles for no misses, a 684 kick meters. The only error he had was when the other team passed it, a bad pass, and ended up hitting him just before their own player. So Johnson, incredible. Speaking about incredible, Corey Horsburgh, he should be completely owned by everyone. The effort that he shows, the ability for him to score so well in those big minutes at PPM, 60 tackles for 1 miss. He's in everything. And even that last one where when Johnson got the field goal, Corey Horsburgh was the one that was chasing that down to try and knock it down, and he almost did. So, yeah, the effort that this guy shows is incredible. He did have, obviously, an error, a couple of penalties in there, but really, for the amount of work that he puts in, is 74 in base before negative. So, and this was only including 1 offload. So there's games here where he'll get this many points, but it's because he's getting tackle breaks and offloads, and that wasn't the case in this one. Tohu Harris, the PPM in this one was absolutely amazing. 50 tackles. Obviously, there was plenty through the middle in this one. You've got Wade Egan with 55, Horse with 60, and Tohu was 50 in this one. So it's very much through the middle, and that's exactly what you wanted if you owned a bunch of these players, is that back and forth through the center, and Tohu was amazing with that. 3 missed tackles. I swear I saw 4. I love how you have a player for so long, you're backing him up, and then you start death riding him when you don't own him, and that was half happening last night. I played him in Supercoach, so I was kind of hoping for maybe a try assist or something like that, but low tackles, the way that one works out with the points difference. But Tohu, amazing work. 54 minutes is the worry, and it looks like, and very, very, I said to the boys last night that he's earned this, right? They weren't able to do this for a long time. A lot of years, they were never able to give him a rest during games, and it's kind of a catch-22 for fantasy coaches. And this one, like in last week, his PPM was amazing, just under 1 last week and above 1 in this one, with only the 1 turnover tackle. So, just a credit to the Warriors guys that when he goes off, for the most part, they do hold it together. He went off for the last few minutes before extra time there, and they did put a couple of tries on Raiders, so I'm not sure how much he could have done in that scenario, given it was on both edges, but yeah, that was that there. So that little bit extra time just gave him, I think, an extra, 8 points or something, so it happens sometimes, always the way it works out. Egan with 59, so lovely try assist as well. I do see actually a few people own him, so it's a very solid pickup, that's for sure, on Wade Egan there. You go down to Tim McGowan, 54 for him, and that includes a line break, 7 tackle breaks, and 185 meters. So he has no negatives in this one, which is incredible. So good stuff for Matty there. Definitely a solid option at that cheap price, guys. You got him, you got Lomax that are the unders kind of price players. Lomax won't be after his latest one, and Tim McGowan will go up plenty as well. He'll be closer to 600 after this for sure. Tapane, 52 in this one in the 48 minutes, so it was very worrisome when he just came back on and then he whacked himself when he went to tackle his mate. Weird. Go back and watch that one. Whacked his chin there, and it looked like he might have had a bit of a jaw issue, but I think they took him off for a HIA in the end, and then came back on, and he picked up close to 30 points in his last sort of 15 minutes, which was amazing. We had an offload there and 5 tackle breaks, plenty of run meters, just the 2 missed tackles in negative, so he absolutely saved his score, and very, very lucky for those that do own him that it was nothing major, and he came back on, he absolutely smashed it for that last bit. Yeah, people saying Chance, he's very much scores better against some of the better teams, and that was very much the case in this one. 5 tackle breaks in last night's game. He had a turnover tackle to 194 meters, 13 tackles for 2 misses for a fullback is very impressive. He gets involved, as we know, in all of the work running and obviously defensively as well, and then a great try against his old team. So 52 for him. Amazing work. If you looped him, happy days. I did trade him and Tohu in this one, so two 50-plus scores. Yeah, a little bit annoying, but hopefully Cleary goes big, and then, yeah, it's all worth it in the end. And obviously those two have a bye next week, so something to think about as well. Like, I did trade Tohu over IPAP, and I do think Tohu will score better in the long run, but I just wanted to make sure that I could get a good score in next week's game, because that's going to be the slight worry, is having that couple of, the cash out or two, and then having Johnson out, and if I had Tohu out as well, that was going to be a slight worry. So I do see a bunch of people trading Tohu out next week, and I really hope that people aren't trading Shawnee Johnson coming into that week. That's for sure, because he's a must-have for the rest of the season. They have a very soft draw after this. Seems like it doesn't matter who he plays against. He scores well, but that's something to note, that it gets a bit easier for the Warriors, playing all bottom 8 teams in the last 5 games after their bye. And Fanua Blake, 48 for him. So, yeah, just a little bit of a weird one. The last few weeks, he hasn't had the tackle breaks and the offloads. He did pick up the try a couple of weeks ago, but the other 2 games before that, he was just picking up no attacking stats at all. So strange that someone of his stature can make 205 meters and not have a tackle break or an offload. It shows that the defenses are really getting into him this year. Since he started scoring all those tries in the first half of the year, they're really sort of gang tackling him a bit there, and making sure that he can't get any extra second phase play or get the tackle breaks that some other players get from being in a one-on-one type of tackle. Jackson Ford, 43 for him. Solid. Again, it's probably what you expect with the 5 missed tackles, 51 made. Good stuff, but no, 49 run meters, no attacking stats there. Frustrating for owners of him. But yeah, what do you do with him next week? I think you sell. He's done a great job. He's been awesome for you. If you can't, then that's fine. But if you're running out of trades and he's just going to be a hold that's a dual position for the rest of the year, that's fine for sure. They have a nice run. He could score some tries in the back end. Seb Chris, coming into his own, isn't he? 2 try savers in a row. They were like back-to-back tackles, which is crazy. No turnover tackles in that, but 10 extra points, so he could have ended up with 30. He didn't start the game super high scoring wise, but ended up with a nice line break assist, an offload in there, and good run meters. So very limited on the negatives, with just the one penalty there, 1 error, sorry, and going on well from there. Rocco Berry ended up with a 40, so there's a couple of good scores from him in a row. For those that were interested in him at 393, which I doubt there were many. Hudson Young with a low scorer with a runaway try at that. So, really from there, if he didn't have that against the grain try, he's probably sitting at about a 25, which is pretty crazy. So, it's Hudson Young. A little fall from grace this week, but you'd imagine he'll be back. He seems to be this guy who goes up and down in the 30s and then goes big in the 60 plus kind of range. Starling back with some decent minutes. He's back down to 329k. Crazy. The ups and down swings that bloke has each and every season is pretty incredible. Nick Corey off, unfortunately. So head injury for him, I believe. That was early in the game, wasn't it? I did watch the whole game, but so not good for him. Doesn't really affect anyone of us fantasy-wise anyway. Luke Metcalf's kind of the one we'll finish on here at 13. So he was on -1 for a good portion of this game. It just wasn't for him this one. Thankfully, they still got the win, and I think he'll be better for it, because he's had a bunch of really good games in a row. 5 missed tackles for him and 3 errors. So not his game. He looked fine. It just didn't work out for him. So put that down to a little bit of inexperience, and thankfully they've got SJ there that can carry a lot of that load. Okay, Bunnies Broncos. There were some big updates in this game, which killed me because I had 0 players in there. Katoni Staggs, 91. They gave him some good ball, and he was able to show his stuff there. 2 turnover tackles as well to go along with the try assist and 2 tries. He was amazing. Talked about Murray now. So 69 in the end, 77 minutes. Damn it. I was definitely not hoping for that. 65 minutes would have been fine. Would have ended up with a 50 odd, and exactly what we expect. But the 69 there, 64 before updates. Payne Haas was 51 before updates. So both big ones there. Where were those updates in the Tigers game? That's what I was hoping for. Here's me thinking the IPAP's going to go up heaps, and then he ends up losing a point. So not good. But Murray 69 there. He had 2 offloads in the end to hand. One of them was a tackle break, offload, line break assist. Yeah, that was fun. Especially when he started a bit light. I think he was 9 or so in like 20 minutes. I was like, okay, we're good. He'll probably play 65 minutes. And then, you get the attacking stats started coming, and he ended up with a try saver as well, which looks like what they gave him overnight in that one. So, 48 tackles, 2 misses. Everything you could have hoped for Cam. A lot of people brought him in, and definitely should have. So good stuff on that front. Hopefully for my sake, not getting him, that he against the lesser opponents, which they come up against the next bunch of weeks, he goes back to sort of 55 to 65 minutes and doesn't need to play the huge ones, which he did in this one. So paying us with the 62 minutes. So he got 55 in the end. 3 tackle breaks and offload. Kind of normal on the tackles and 157 meters. So a little bit low for him on the tackle break front. But it was up against a better team, even though they came out and won. So 36 to 20 victors. It shows how important our man Reece Walsh is. He's so electric. He gives these guys like Cobbo and Stags really good footy and allows them to do their work. So yeah, very impressive his return. And yeah, hopefully that he can stay on the park for the rest of the year for Broncos fans, because he's a game changer in this side. Johnston, 55. Scooper, we ruined this one. He ended up trading him, I believe, last week. Potentially the week before, but 55 here. He had a pretty good game across the board. 2 turnover tackles as well to go along with some offloads, a try saver. So that's that. Carrigan, the 52 off his 80 minutes. So obviously playing on the edge. Tackles were down a fair bit, so 26 for him. Did have 2 turnover tackles on that side, a couple offloads, a couple of tackle breaks, but yeah, you'll take the 52, but not super exciting if you're looking to hold him longer term. We need to find out what happened with Piakura. If you do know, let me know in the comments. There's a few changes. Tavita Tola out pre-game, and also Piakura, so yeah, not good. Cameron Graham, 48, so back to his sort of keeper level scores, even though he's lost a fair bit over this year. Down to 571 after his incredible start. Reynolds to 47, Arrow, and also Walshy. So Walshy's one of those guys we know that's just so important to this side, and sometimes his ability and his incredible efforts doesn't exactly show on the fantasy scoreboard. He looks like he should be playing a 60 plus kind of game most weeks, and he ends up somewhere around here in the 40s. So definitely a solid keeper option, but I think there's better at the moment. So guys like Drinky are absolutely going nuts, and we know what guys like Teddy can do on their day. So yeah, interesting there with Walshy. Very much glad I didn't hold Damien Cook. He ended up with a try assist and still got 42 points. So very sad on that front. 55 run meters. He had 3 missed tackles and 1 error there with 38 tackles made. So we know that these days it seems to be Cookie needs to get 50 plus tackles and a bunch of tackle breaks and an offload to kind of get anywhere near that 60 mark. So frustrating for owners of him. Cobbo, as I said, it's just really cool to watch him go about his business. He's so strong. Farnworth of 38, if you have him as a keeper. There's a couple of low ones in a row, which is frustrating. Kolomatangi, again, just one of those guys that can have really solid weeks and then gets back into the 30s. It's very much the same with him and Olakawatu. They can have these kind of games, and it's so frustrating when you've got every other edge or whatever just being very consistent in the 50s and 60 there with guys like Hopgood, that these kind of scores just don't cut it, especially when you've got 7 weeks to go. So yeah, just something to note for following years, as those types of players there that are the up and down type of scorers, they shit you to no end. They really do. Okay, what else have we got? Sele, 26. Cody Walker, 25. Not okay in his return. A line breaker, try assist, and a try saver for only 25. So plenty of negatives in missed tackles and errors there. Ilias with the low one, which is weird. No kick meters. Don't know what's going on there. Blake Taft, 21. I was a bit worried about him. Not owning him and getting that nice big price rise after his negative break even and following his really big score when I needed him. But had the try assist early and 4 goals, but ended up missing a bunch of tackles and nothing else really happened for him. On that front, Jacob Host, he's back at it, 10 off 33, doing his job, as they say. And that's it. Yeah, there you go. 2 games down. 3 games for the week now. 3 games today and a couple tomorrow. I wish you guys all the best of luck in that one. I didn't have as many players yesterday, obviously none in this game, which hurt. Having Haas would have been okay, Carrigan okay, Murray would have been the knockout punch there. And yeah, for anyone who brought him in, did really well for you. And I said good luck in the next 3 games.